Well, good morning again, everybody. Today we are going to talk about three simple words. And I'm going to start with the Esler that we are working with today, the Esler of love. Love is our response to what God has created. Love is our response to all people in light of God's love for us. With grace, we live, learn, and play together in community, realizing that God designed us to be mutually dependent. And our verse today is 1 John chapter 4, verse 7. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. And I says we're going to talk about the three most important words. And we probably hear these words, probably the very first sentence that we ever hear in our life, and probably the very last things that we hear in our life. And these words are, I love you. Just simply, I love you. Three simple words. You know, we had a teacher up at the high school, a math teacher, and he had just had a newborn son. His name is Mr. Mukai. And I remember talking to him about it, and he says, I love my wife with all my heart and soul. But when my son came, I never knew that I could love somebody so much. And all of us have said these words in varying degrees of, meaning to them. But they're words that mean everything. They can be translated as, you are my everything, you are my heart, I would give everything for you, you are precious, you are unique. We had a girl that graduated from HBA many, many years ago that would end every single conversation with everybody, I love you. Getting out of her car in the morning, bye-bye, Mom, I love you. Leaving English class, bye-bye, Mrs. Astari, I love you. Leaving camp, bye-bye, Lockie, I love you. And she said this to everybody, to her friends, to her family, to everything. And I had the opportunity to talk to her one day, and it's like, I really love this quality that you have of telling people that you love them whenever you meet them. And then she proceeded to tell me one of the saddest stories that I've ever heard. You see, one day, when she was back in middle school, she and her father had a major argument. And at the end of that argument, she looked at her father and says, I hate you. I wish you weren't even my father. She went in her room, slammed her door. The next morning, as usual, she gets up, gets ready for school. As she's getting ready to walk out the door to catch the bus, she passes by her dad's room and just says, bye, walks out of the house, and off to school she goes. Little did she know that her father had suffered a massive heart attack during that night. And when she said goodbye to her father, he had already passed away. And so she said, it took a lot of time to work with that. But she says she never wants anything like that to happen again. She says she wants to know that her last words to all the players in her life, all the people in her life, she always wants the last words that she says to them to be, I love you, because of that. And that's one of the greatest stories I've ever heard. One of the saddest stories I've ever heard. But since she told me the story, every time I speak to one of my family members, whether it's going out the door to get groceries or leaving for the airport or just even on the phone, I want to make sure that the last words that I say to my sister, my mom, my nieces, anybody, is, okay, I gotta go now, bye-bye, I love you. And it just gives me a real sense of peace. You see, they're just three simple words that mean everything. When was the last time you said them? Challenge yourself today to say those three simple words to someone. It might even be in your house right now. To say it without being prompted, but just to go up and say, hey, Mom, I just want you to know I love you. Dad, I love you. Sibling, whatever your name might be, I love you. And then go pet your dog, because that way he'll understand it too. Okay, so I really appreciate y'all doing these devotions. I'm getting some really good feedback from you, getting some prayer requests from you. If you do need prayer, or if you would like prayer, please indicate that also. But I'd love for you to just take a moment now and answer the reflections that are down below. Okay, guys? Bye-bye. I love you.